welcome to my channel, and I am Stephanie, and this is the wrap-up for Contemporary-a-thon Round 2. Contemporary-a-thon is a readathon that was held, or that was hosted by Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads and Julie from Pages and Pens, and also a new arrival or new added co-host was Natasha from My Reading is Odd. All of their information is down in the description box, so you guys can go check out their channels. But this Contemporary-a-thon lasted from February the 12th until February the 18th, midnight to midnight, and it was amazing. It was awesome. There were 7 challenges and I smashed it. If you watched my Insta stories, and then I also saved them and put them on my Facebook book page, you can go and check out all of my updates and everything like that as I went along for the 7 days, well, 6 days, because I didn't do a 7th day update because it was the last day and I was chilling with my biffle. And so I got the book that I was supposed to finish reading and completed the challenge before I went out with her. But let's get to what I read and the challenges and everything like that, because it was amazing. Yes, it was so much fun. And I figured out that I have to use audiobooks to do a readathon. So that is a tip for you. If you are doing a readathon and you have access to audiobooks and you can listen to audiobooks, do it. Do it, do it, do it. Oh my gosh, just do it. So the first challenge of the readathon is to read a book with pink on the cover, and for that I read Keeping It by Rachel Robinson. This book is about a Navy SEAL and a virgin that he meets in a small town after he is restationed there, and it is part of a series, but it is a standalone book, and I completely enjoyed it. I gave this book 5 stars. I read it as an arc and I just loved it. You have Caroline, who is the small town woman. She's sassy, she's independent, and she meets this Navy SEAL, Tahoe, or Tyler, because he needs to acquire part of the airport that is there, and their back and forth sort of journey is awesome. It's very slow burn, so even though it is the trope of meeting a big alpha male meeting a virgin, it's not on that whole breeding and insta-love type story. It's very slow burn. So yes, go check that out. It has been released and you guys can check that out and read it now. The next challenge was to read my most recently acquired book, and I had a couple choices for that one, but I went with The Player by Claire Contreras. And this book, I listened to it on audiobook. I gave it 4 stars. And this book follows a European footballer, so to us Americans, a soccer player. He has a business venture here in the United States in New York, and the woman that he meets is getting kicked out of her apartment building. Her name is Camilla, and his name is Warren, and he is a big time footballer, like has followings and fans and things like that. Well, when she goes into this meeting, she doesn't even pay any attention to him and is just like, you know, whatever, you're closing down my building and where am I supposed to live? And you're not giving me any short notice. So this is another slow burn story. I liked it. I wanted a little more from it, but I did enjoy listening to it. The next challenge was to read a hyped book. Had a couple choices for this one too, but I went with 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I am so mad at all of you that were like, oh, it's an amazing book. It's such an amazing book. Yeah, it's amazing. It's freaking such an emotional book. I give this book 5 stars. It's so emotional. I mean, I started the book while I listened to it on audiobook, and started it while I was at work in tears by like hour 2, and then I was like, I just can't. Why didn't you all warn me that I was gonna need tissues? Lots and lots and lots of tissues. By the time I finished that book, I was a complete wreck. I mean, I think I cried for like the last 15, 20, maybe 30. I don't know. I was a wreck. A wreck. I really can't tell you very much about this story because I think you should go into it blind, except for the fact that you need to have tissues if you get emotionally connected to your fictional characters, because you're going to need them. You have Poppy and you have Rune, who is Scandinavian. He's from Norway. She is from small town, like South Carolina, I think it is. I think they live in South Carolina together, but they meet when they are super young, when they're 8, and then they have this journey, and just amazing, and it's very emotional, and yeah. Yep, that's all I'm going to say about that one. Then the next book was to read, or next challenge was to read a diverse book, and I went with My Soul to Keep by Kennedy Ryan. I knew there was a reason why I loved Kennedy Ryan. I read her Grip series last year and absolutely adored it, and why I didn't read this series, I have no clue. No clue whatsoever. This series is actually before the Grip series. It's called the Soul series. I haven't gotten to book number 2 yet, but this book right here, woo, I listened to it on audiobook, and the characters I had been introduced to in the Grip series, so I sort of knew them, but I didn't know their story. You have Kai and you have Ryson, and so Kai is this southern girl that is of mixed race, and if you get the chance to listen to it on audiobook, I say do it, because the narrator that they got to pick, or she picked to voice Kai, oh, just put it all together. Just so good. So amazing. I didn't say, I gave this book 5 stars, and I can't wait to get to the next book in the series, but so good. And Ryson was amazing too. His voice sounded completely different to me in the Grip series, and now I have a new voice to go with it, and I just love it. I loved every single moment of it. I felt the heart in it, and yes, so Kai is a small town girl. Ryson is this musical prodigy, and she's trying to make it in the business. He's already made it, and their journey, their back and forth is just amazing. It's an interracial couple, so that's where the diversity comes from, besides the fact that she's small town and he is already a rock star. Yes, and it doesn't follow any of the tropes that are already there for a rock star wanting to be, yeah, so amazing. Go into this one blind too, because you guys know I love going into my books blind, and that's just how I roll. The next challenge was to read a dark or taboo contemporary, and I was holding off on reading this duet by one of my favorite authors, but I needed to get a dark contemporary in before the challenge ended, so I went with Into the Light by Alethea Roman, and I was not disappointed at all whatsoever. I know why I kept from reading this duet, because to my knowledge right now, Alethea doesn't have anything set up in the near future. So once I completed this duet, I was going to have to wait a while before I had another book by her. But yeah, this is the darkness. This is the darkness that I love about Alethea Roman, and oh, it's so good. It's psychological, it's a thriller, it's a mystery. Your 2 characters that you have are Jacob, well, you have 3 characters. You have Jacob, Sarah, and Stella. Stella is an investigative reporter. Sarah is this woman that wakes up and has no clue what her past is about. All she knows is she can't see anything because she's been blinded by an accident, and she has to relearn everything. She is in a situation that is not very nice. It's not very conducive. She has injuries when she wakes up, and oh, it's just it's so creepy. So creepy, and just very, very, if you have read Alethea Roman's Consequences series, then you know about her darkness, and you know the psychological things that she'll talk about or that she writes about, and this is so just, yes, all of that goodness that I love about Alethea Roman is in this book. And Jacob is Jacob is special. I don't particularly like him, but then again, there have been many a character that Alethea Roman has written that I didn't necessarily like in the beginning, and then I fell in love with them later on throughout the series of their books. So maybe, possibly, I might like him. Maybe. But right now, I'm not. I'm not feeling him. Not at all. But the story I want to know about, I need to get to the next book and find out what happens, because I had to listen to the last hour and a half of it twice, to make sure that I heard all that the story was entailing, to make sure that I heard it correctly. And oh my God, I gave that book 5 stars as well. Wow. I had a really good Contemporary-a-thon here for me. The next challenge was to read a contemporary graphic novel. I actually did 2 books for this challenge, and the first book was Sex Fantasy by Sophia Foster Dominio, and I absolutely hated it. I gave it 1 star. I'm actually thinking about returning it to Amazon because it was a bunch of poo. 400 pages of nonsense. Just didn't, it had no cohesion, and it's like mini sex fantasies, but then they don't make sense, and horrible. So I decided to give another graphic novel a chance to fill that space, because I didn't want to have this bad feeling about graphic novels, and I went with Adulthood is a Myth, a Sarah Scribbles collection by Sarah Anderson, and I loved it. I loved every single moment of it, and it was so amazing. It definitely got me on this like graphic novel kick. I went and I bought like 5 or 6 other ones, and I can't wait to dive into those, because yes, this one was a bunch of small little comics that were just amazing. It's about adulthood, and it just spoke to me, and it was amazing. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I gave that one 5 stars. And then finally, the last challenge of the Contemporary-a-thon was to read a book recommended to me. And I finished 1 book, and I'm actually still reading the next book that was recommended to me. The first one was Dirty English by Ilsa Madden Mills, and it was recommended to me from Lauren from the novel Lush, and I loved this book. It is about a English MMA fighter who comes to college, and yeah, it was very, very interesting. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It is a bit insta-lovey because it is YA, so I kind of felt that that was going to happen anyways, but I love the narrator that they got for it. He had a great English accent, and she wasn't all that bad either. Her name was Elizabeth, and his name was Declan. Yes, so this is a big play on Pride and Prejudice, and the story was just, it was good. It was good. I liked the movie Pride and Prejudice. I liked the story behind Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And yeah, so I really thought that, you know, I was going to enjoy the story, which I did. So 4 stars for that one. So that is all the books that I read for the Contemporary-a-thon round 2. Thank you, Chelsea, Julie, and Natasha, for hosting this again. And I didn't get a chance to watch the live show, but I will go back and check out the film footage of that. I'm sure it's probably hilarious. So hard, but I read 7 books in those 7 days, and I am excited that I did that I smashed this challenge like crazy. And yeah, it was lots of fun because I got to read lots of books, and I'm completely addicted to audiobooks now. So did you read any of those books? If you did the Contemporary-a-thon and have a wrap up, please let me know down in the comments so I can go check out your videos, and, you know, maybe we can discuss, maybe I'll get some contemporaries that you guys read that I find interesting. You never know. Let me know if any of the ones that I read sound interesting to you and you're going to go check those out. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.